Hey everyone, check out this quality. This shit should technically be 4K 60 FPS. Even Terminator Juice is gonna watch my videos now. I don't know what the screen is gonna look like. I can't see on the other side of the camera. I don't know what the sound is gonna be like. I have to find a way to prop up my phone. But if this works properly, it's gonna be such incredible quality. You're gonna see like all the like crap on my clothes and shit. In today's video, video game sprites. I've been wanting to talk about this for a really long time, and today I was like, you know what? I'm finally gonna talk about this stuff. Especially when you're a retro gamer and you grow up with old video games. You always had things like this sprite. You see a sprite and you're just like, okay, this is what the sprite is. You see it and that's what it is. But later on, you're looking at the video game manual, or you're talking to a friend, and you learn that what you have been seeing all this time is not at all what you should have been seeing all this time. Let me give you an example. Super Mario on the original NES. Super Mario Bros. 1. You see Mario, you think Mario, that's what it is. But now let's look at Link. Let's look at Link on the original Legend of Zelda, also on the NES. And you look up really close. And you're thinking, what are those green dots around his eyes? Are the green dots his eyes? Oh no, wait. The green dots are obviously his eyebrows. Or are the green dot and the black dot both the eye, and is the green a reflection in his eye? Does he have a long eye? You don't know. And that's what I mean. I still don't know how I'm supposed to see this. I think in the end I was like, it's his eyebrows. Let's just see it as that. But then I started making this video and I'm looking at it and I'm like, what if it's the actual reflection in his eyes and he has longer eyes? It's hard to tell. And in this video, I'm gonna get a bunch of examples of things that I used to see one way, but I really should have been seeing another way. And there's actually 7 video games in this series. Mostly retro games. I have a bonus one. I don't know if I'm gonna add that. Maybe I will. But we're gonna continue with The Legend of Zelda. I have actually 4 things. I don't know what I was thinking as a kid. 4 things in The Legend of Zelda. A very famous one that I think a lot of people had is the like-like. The like-like enemy. I always saw this as a stack of pancakes with some raspberry syrup on top or something like that. I do not know why, but I still see it like that. I think it mostly has to do with the very clear lines beneath each layer. I don't know why that is, because the like is just nothing more but like a pile of crap with a hole on top. It just doesn't look like that. It looks like pancakes to me. And there's another enemy, the bubble. The bubble is supposed, and even when I was playing Ocarina of Time, only then I started to realize, wait, it's supposed to be a skeleton in a fireball. But when I look at the bubble on the original NES version of The Legend of Zelda, it looks like a happy face to me. Like a smiling, happy face. It reminds me of a game, Rummy Cup. I don't know what it's called in English. Where you have to like have numbers and colored numbers, and the Joker tile in that game, it looks exactly like that. It's so strange, and I never can get past that. Even now when I play the game, I do not see the skull, even though I know it's supposed to be a skull. Then I have some minor ones and a really big one. The minor ones are the compass, the dungeon compass, and specifically the ladder you can get that you have to bring to the old lady to make a potion out of. I think you can choose between a heart container and a potion. I don't know what kid would pick the potion. It's the weirdest choice in a video game, I feel. But the ladder always looked to me like a tower from a castle. I've never seen it otherwise, and I can't see it otherwise. It makes absolutely no sense. But that's what I saw it as. And same with the compass. I know it's supposed to be a compass, but I look at this and I see an orange. I see half an orange. I do not see a compass. Even though I know what it's supposed to be like, I know what it's supposed to look like, I just don't see it. But the biggest one, the biggest brain explosion that I ever had on the Legend of Zelda, still the original NES game, in the dungeons, there are walls. I always thought the walls were annoying. You had like red walls in some dungeon, blue walls in some dungeon, and they separate you from the enemies, and you have to use a ladder to climb over the walls, and then you can attack them. But somehow arrows flew through the walls. I never understood it. Until someday, I had the magical notion of like, wait a minute, they're not walls. They're not walls, it's river, it's water, it's a river in the dungeon or a moat. And it's not a red wall, it's lava. It's lava in the dungeon, and all of a sudden it just makes absolute sense. And now when I look at it, I can kind of see it when you kind of look at the edges of it. But it still takes effort for me to look at this and be like, yeah, that's not a wall. But it just looks like one. It just always looked like a wall to me. I actually drew this once for fun, like a really cheap doodle very quickly to illustrate my pain with all these things in the Legend of Zelda game. But it can get worse. But before it gets really bad, let's go to Super Mario Brothers. Back to Super Mario on the original NES as well. I have two in this game. First off, we have the Buzzy Beetle. I like the Buzzy Beetle, especially later iterations and New Super Mario Brothers when he has like the red eyes and stuff. I really like it. But as a kid, I never saw the depth within the helmet, you know, with a little white eye glowing from the darkness. No, I saw a turtle with aviator goggles. That's what I saw, and that's what I still see now when I play the game. I have to really focus and think to myself, they're not goggles, it's an eye leering at you from the depths of the darkness. But there's a bigger problem I have. Bullet Bill. Bullet Bill is a flying bullet. And in the original game, he has two arms next to him. And he flies at you with the arms. But I never saw arms. I always saw an evil smile. I always saw an evil smile. But it's not an evil smile. It's not. It is supposed to be arms, and even now I know it, and it doesn't look. I see a smile. And it's only worsened by the fact that when they released Super Mario World, they created Bonsai Bill, who has a giant evil smile. It's only when the later games like New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii and the Wii U games and all those other games came out that I noticed, wait, why does he have arms? That's stupid. They never used to have arms. Why would they all of a sudden do that? Oh, because they did always have arms. Now I have a few individual titles, and they get kind of wacky now, and they go into straight up crazy. The first one is, again, a NES game. The original NES. Kirby's Adventure. On Kirby's Adventure, when you hit the start button, I think it's the start button, you get a different screen and you see a Kirby on there. And this Kirby is just taking a javelin and piercing it through other Kirbys, and it's suffering and it's crying, and Kirby looks so happy while he's mutilating the Kirbys. And I never understood why this was. I was thinking maybe it's like a trash pickup, you know? He's picking up the trash and there's like stuffed Kirbys laying around, he's picking up the trash. And I never got it. Until again, I'm not joking, until way past my 20s. At some point, I put it together where the Kirby is drawn in the intro of the game. And the start menu, and I'm thinking, oh, he's drawing another Kirby on the wall. But I still can't see that. I just see this violent smiling Kirby just jamming this spear through another Kirby. I don't know what it is. I've always seen it like that for over 20 years. And the original Kirby's Adventure on the NES is a game I've played over and over, all the time, non-stop. So it's so ingrained in me that he's not drawing a Kirby. He's not. Another game on the NES, Bionic Commando. This one is a smaller one, But in Bionic Commando, when you beat enemies, they leave behind little objects. When you gather a lot of them, you get an extra health bar. I always thought he was picking up soda cans. I don't know why. A lot of stuff was food related on the NES. I thought he's picking up these soda cans, and after a while he gets more energy because he's drinking the soda cans. Until at some point I read the manual and it says there it's a bullet. It's supposed to be bullets, but they're white with this flashy green top, which is why I always thought it was soda. It was colorful, but nah, he's collecting bullets. And I guess it kind of makes sense, but it really doesn't to me. I have 3 left. This one is a minor one. The next one is Bomberman. Bomberman 2 on the NES specifically, but it's any Bomberman really, because it has always been the same. Right up to Super Bomberman up until the games right now. I've always seen this thing the exact same way and it never changed for me. But my first experience was with Dynablaster over here in Europe, which is Bomberman 2 in America. In Bomberman, you can pick up power-ups to get more bombs, or remote bombs, you can throw bombs, you can walk faster. There's little skulls that give you little diseases. There's one disease that's like super speed, so it can be good if you want to run the risk. But there's one power-up you can pick up. And it's a little ghosty. It's a happy little ghosty. And I've always called this a little ghosty because it just looks like a ghosty to me. Except that it's not. Because again, way past my 20s, all of a sudden I realized, oh, it's a flame. It's a fireball. That makes sense because the power-up increases the size of your flame. But I still see this as a ghosty. And I have always called it a ghosty because that's what it looked like to me. And it's made even worse by the fact that, if I remember it correctly, on the NES, it was white. It wasn't yellow. Which is why I just always thought it was a ghosty. But even in subsequent games, when they made it yellow and red, I still thought it was a ghosty. I don't know why all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's a flame. I think it was just at one point I was playing the game and maybe there was an explosion at the same time when I picked it up and it just clicked all of a sudden. But that's a ghost. On the original Nintendo, we have Mega Man 2. Art of a game. It's not my personal favorite, but it's without a doubt one of the greatest games ever made. Killer soundtrack, really cool design of the game. You choose a robot master, you go into the level, you defeat him, you get the power up, you choose another one, maybe your power up works better against him, get cool new abilities and stuff. Heatman. I do not know why. Maybe it's because I was a kid and you're more innocent as a kid. I do not know. I always thought, and I'm telling you, it makes absolutely no sense. I always thought Heatman was a stapler. He looks like a stapler. He is a stapler to me. That's what he is. I don't get why. It makes absolutely no sense that he's a stapler. But he just looks like a stapler. Until very late. Again, in my 20s. Maybe late teens. But I think it was again late 20s even, where I saw a specific artwork and I'm looking at this artwork and I'm thinking to myself, hey, he's more square than he is long in this art. Hey, he kind of looks like my zip. Oh, it makes sense now with the little jewel on there and he goes open and on his helmet he has a little rolling thing he put a fire. Of course he's a Zippo! He's Heatman! He has fire as an ability! Why am I thinking that he's a stapler? It makes no sense. Why would he be a stapler? Of course he's a Zippo! That's what he is! I couldn't believe that. I blew my own brain. But I mean like, it makes sense. People listening to this video now, people are watching this and they're like, why would you think he's a stapler? That makes no sense. But I know it makes no sense. I always thought the same thing, it makes no sense. But as a kid, you don't really know what a Zippo is, really. You know, lighters didn't look like that, really. Zippos only started getting popularity like a little bit in the 90s, at least where I live. I always had one. I always had one when I was smoking, a really cool one. I like flicking it open. I had like a little jewel that Heatman has on it as well, but yeah, man, he's not a stapler. And the biggest one that I have, the biggest thing, where I looked at the sprite, and even now today, I do not care. I cannot see this in any other way, no matter what I try. The Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo is an incredible game, one of the greatest RPGs ever made, without a doubt. Incredible atmosphere, great music. I love the combat system. I like the grid-based stuff. You have really cool summons that you can gather, the sound effects, everything about this game is art. At one point you have to, it's been a while since I've played it, but you go to the different palaces, like Fire Palace, Water Palace, and you have to get the seeds from each palace, I think it is. But anyway, at one point you go to the Water Temple. The Water Temple has Luca in it. And Luca is, I think, a goddess, the goddess of water. And she guards the Water Temple and the Water Spirit. I don't remember exactly, it's been a really long time since I played this game, but I still cannot see it any otherwise. And I never forgot this. Because I always thought Luca looked like an evil fucking bitch. I'm like, why is she a good goddess? She looks like a fucking skeleton monster. With the evil red eyes, the super evil grin, the massive giant evil smile. She looks evil as fuck, but I'm like, hey, I don't judge. You know, maybe it's cool character design. Maybe they're trying to throw me off. Maybe she's gonna become a villain later. Or, for over 30 years, I've seen it completely wrong. At one point, I don't remember how I found it, but I either read it somewhere, or I saw official artwork. There's something where I'm like, wait. But it's not like Heatman, where I'm like, of course it's a Zippo. I'm like, wait. She's not an evil skeleton chick with glowing red eyes and this evil smile, but like, look at her. That's what she is. There's no way she's anything else than that. Like, look, I know this artwork has this hot chick on it, but look at that face. There's no way that's what this is supposed to be. And it's not like they couldn't make chicks, you know, decent in the game. One of your three main characters, she's supposed to be this hot princess chick, you know. She looks like, and you have other females in the game. Luca is the only one that looks completely psychotic. There's no, and I still see her now, and that's just what she is, a psychotic, evil skeleton bitch. I can't see it any other way. There's just no way. Come on, look at this sprite. Look at it. You're telling me this looks like a hot chick? No. That's an evil skeleton bitch with glowing red eyes, and she wants you fucking dead. She wants your soul. Once you get from her what you need and you're on your way, she's plotting to kill you, and she will come back in the game. But she doesn't. Because that's not what she is. But that's what I always saw. So let me ask you, what did you always used to see in different games? Is there a sprite in a video game that you always saw as one thing? Until the day you realized, oh, wait, what? That's what it's supposed to be? It happens mostly, I feel, with the NES and the Super Nintendo in that era, you know, Sega, Mega Drive, Genesis, all that kind of stuff. Because sprites are kind of up interpretation. You can't do a lot with it. I do have one example on the Nintendo 64, specifically the Ocarina of Time box art. On the Ocarina of Time box art, at least here in Europe, on the back there's an image. And I never understood this image. I thought maybe they took the image from a beta version of the game. You see a horse, and this is dude sitting on a horse. He has like this, I think they call it a ruff. You know, like you had like the Renaissance, really all this giant thing around the throat, and I don't understand. I'm like, why is Lincoln not on there? I don't get this image. I'm like, oh. Until one day, I think in the cutscene I saw it. I'm like, oh wait, Link, it's Link, but he's looking down. So his hair is over here, and that's why his head is smaller. It made no sense to me. That's a more recent example. I think that's the only example I can think of in recent years. But it did take me until my late teens late 20s to actually figure that out as well. And I'm not kidding. I used to stare at this box art for so long. I'm like, what is this? What is this image? Is this beta stuff? You know what I mean? So let me know in the comment section below. I really am curious if you have ever seen an image or a sprite in a video game and it was something completely different from what you always thought it was. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this quality looks good. I can't even check right now if it's doing an autofocus thing, if the sound is good because of the way I set up my phone. But if this works, I'll probably be recording like this a lot more. Write down in the comment section your misconceptions when it comes to video game sprites. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want more of this content. I do random videos like this. I do top 10s, reactions, gameplay. There's a lot of cool stuff still coming. I have a ton of ideas I'm really excited to talk about. Thank you all for watching and stay real.